among you came today to learn, unlearn, or relearn certain things? Give me a thumbs up. And who among you today would say, I am proud to be a woman? Give me the heart. And for the men here, give me also the heart if you are proud to say you love a woman really, really close to your heart.
Make it bigger, Richard.
Bigger. And my last question is, if you believe that everybody in this room is just great and fabulous, give ourselves a big round of applause. This is the landmark where I come from. That's the Cannon Road. Because I was born and raised in Baguio. So if you look at my picture, that's actually in Wright Park. I just did that a few years ago, where you pay to take your pictures and wear the native costume. And of course, there's the Saint Bernard, and you pay 100 pesos to have your picture taken. And that's the city of Baguio. And I say that I'm really proud to say I'm a full-blooded Baguio girl, born and raised in that city. And I'm sure most of you who have gone to Baguio would say, who wouldn't want to come from the city where it's similar to San Francisco, right? The weather, the people are warm. It's a small city. In fact, when I was growing, it was such a patent place. Like everybody knew what everybody was doing. Everybody was talking about so-and-so, and I was part of those who were talked about, by the way. My parents were not from Baguio, but I would say that I'm a native of Baguio because I was born and raised there, but they're actually from La Union. And so many migrants, actually most of the people from Baguio, are not really from there or the natives of Baguio, but a lot came from the lowlands and sought a lot of job opportunities when they went up to Baguio. And I was blessed. My parents decided to put me in a good school. I'm the only girl and the youngest in the family, and so they decided to send me to school. And the St. Teresa's Baguio existed for 20 years. Who are from St. Teresa's Cebu here? Oh, there's none? Your sisters, or Manila, or, well, it's really, and I'm proud to say I'm a Theresian by heart. I was there for 12 years, breathed the ICM values, worked with the nuns, was raised by the nuns, and I am what I am today, partly because of the education that I got from the sisters. We used to have short skirts when we were in grade school. And then in high school, all of a sudden, we had to wear our uniforms below the knee. And so every time after classes, our uniforms would be below the knee, but when all our boys would be waiting by the garage of the school or the driveway, we would start folding up our skirts. But that was in grade school when our skirts were still allowed to be above the knee. And so as a Baguio girl, I liken my life with a mountain, and I'm the climber. And when you climb, before you climb the summit of the mountain, there's just a lot of hurdles, challenges. You take 2 steps up, then you slip further down, then you take another steps up. And so that's my life, which I would actually share with you this afternoon. And mountain climber would normally bring backpack. I'm a backpacker. In fact, my team here would attest. I am dressed, but My laptop is in my backpack. So everything that's inside my backpack is really all the things that happened in my life. My life started as a journey, which is now what I call a pilgrimage. From a journey, it's a pilgrimage because I will soon quiet down. I've tried quieting down in my corporate life in 2014, but Wipro came knocking at my door and said, "We would like to hire you." And I said, "I have one question. Do you know how old I am?" They said, "Yes, and we would like to hire you." And so before I really changed tires, not retire, but change tires, I looked down and checked my corporate life. And indeed, I'm actually a steward. I am a steward of many things, or everything that was given to me, hoping that when I quiet down, I would make a difference in the lives of the people that I have met with, people I met. And maybe I would like to say that before you step out of this room, that I would have made even just a small impact in your life. In the past 14 years, I've taken the pilgrimage to be a servant leader. And that's the foundation and the rock of my family and my corporate life. I'm blessed to be given this rare opportunity to share with you today my life as I ask you to join me in my walk as I take the path of servant leadership. And you know, when you speak of servant leadership, even if you Google it, there's only one person that comes to mind, and that's the guru. That's Robert Greenleaf. He wrote so many books. But in his definition of being a servant leader, you have to be a servant first. And there is supposed to be that natural wanting, that natural liking in you to serve. To serve first. And if you're a mom, remember, like, I remember I would make my children eat first. And then, of course, you tell them, eat everything that's on your plate, which doesn't really happen. So you end up eating whatever they've left on their plates. But you let them go ahead. You would sacrifice anything to serve your children, right? And I am a servant leader, and it starts with my home. And let me just put some structure in my life story. As I talk about the 10 characteristics of a servant leader, I will not cover everything this afternoon for the interest of time. But that's the whole list. And I will talk to you about seven of these characteristics that have really propelled me to where I am today. It looks actually self-explanatory. It's easy. These characteristics are easy. But to live and make it a part of your DNA, I say I am a work in progress every day of my life. It's not easy, as I've said. And when I started earlier, I said, my mountain of life is an uphill and a downhill. Sometimes you plateau, right? You just quiet down. To use the words of the millennials, chill ka lang, chill, chill. You know. Everything starts with being aware. Starts with being aware as to who you are, so that's self-awareness. Being aware of others, and most importantly is being aware that there is a higher being, more powerful than anything and everything. And so I left Baguio when I was in third year college, even if I wanted to go down to Manila right after high school. But that was the height of rallies, martial law. I graduated during the martial law days, so I won't give away. No. High school, I'm a class 72, and I was rallying, picketing in the streets. And it was a good choice. It was a good decision that I was aware that I will not become successful in the city that I love. One, because of the martial law days. Two, because of the growing drug incident in Baguio. And so I went down to Manila, and that was third year college. And that was when I also had my first son. I wanted to be a doctor. I took pre-med, and before I graduated, I had my first son, and so everything changed. I said, I cannot be a doctor because it will be very difficult to go to school and to raise a family or raise a son. And so after college, I went to LaSalle to pursue my master's in guidance and counseling. And that was the awareness that I had. However, it was really, one of the characteristics too, is to lend a helping hand. A constant question that I would always ask is, how can I help others? And so I started to help people build their careers. Like, I found, there was one guy, I started an association in HR in Cavite, and he goes, I'm so unhappy with my job. And so I said, okay, I'll help you build your career. He graduated BS Stat UP. Then I made him CN Comp and Ben. He was very passionate, good with people, so I made him employee relations, and so forth and so on. And I built my team. All of these are now HR in their own companies. In fact, I was talking to Gemma Villa of InnoData, and I said, who's your HR now? And he goes, I told her rather, one of my team members before is now your HR, John Gatchalian. And she said, yeah, he's still my HR. And so it's really helping people. And I always go for the underdogs, by the way. And so you've got to dream great. That's another characteristic. And I've always been a dreamer. I wanted to be a doctor, I couldn't. And then there was even one time I attended the consecration of vows of my cousin nun. I wanted to become a nun. But I'm sure they wouldn't have accepted me. And so I was talking about changing tires when I was still dreaming. My dream was really to be a missionary and help the ultra poor. I started with ICM, the International Care Ministries. But in Wipro, I found my team. This is a dream team. They're very young, passionate, energetic, and I know that it's payback time for me, and I will have a chance to groom them. And so one day when I look back, they will all be HR leaders in their own companies. Think ahead. Very simple, proactive, have the foresight. I think Karen and the other speakers talked about it. Aside from dreaming, be visionary. What's your vision? Have your purpose, right? And this is where I would look back and say, yes, this is one characteristic of a servant leader. Aside from growing people, I've grown my own family. I have 5 boys and 1 girl. I have 2 grandchildren. And we're not perfect. We're not perfect. And I work hard, and I also play hard. That's my husband, Louis. And in 2012, as we were growing together as a couple, we also had a lot of hurdles. But before the 2012 incident, we were just blessed that we were asked to be part of a community. BLD. I think BLD is known here in Cebu. So we had our marriage encounter, and my husband was saying, we don't have problems. He said, you don't have to have problems to enter the marriage encounter, right? And he goes, no, but I don't want to be singing and praising the Lord, I just pray. And I said, yeah, let's try it. And we've been in community since then. And so in 2012, he was diagnosed to have prostate cancer. After 7 years of being diabetic and insulin dependent. And it was very, very difficult. He hated doctors. And just for him to go for his biopsy, to me, I was already really worried. Boy, I don't know how I'm gonna make him go. Maybe I should give him Valium, put him to sleep, so that, But, because of prayers, he submitted himself. And it's gonna be his 5th year this year. And I claim it and I praise God that he will be cancer-free, like the dad of our speaker earlier. And it was because of our life together. Otherwise, I don't think I could have made it. And the same year that he was diagnosed to have cancer, one of my sons was implicated in a drug incident. And how can you, as a mom, trying your best to be the best mother, to be the best parent, even Louis, to us, we just said, why? So there's a purpose for all this. It made us closer as a family. We also realized that there is something more powerful than any of these things, all the hurdles that we have in life. So those are my grandchildren. And so I believe that as a mountain climber, mountains are there. They're created to be conquered. Adversities or our problems are designed for us to defeat them. And of course, if there are problems, there are solutions. But we get bogged down by our humanness. But once we say there's something bigger than all these, then we know that we will hurdle everything. And so I am a steward of my family, of my company, of all the blessings that have been given to me. I'm here to take care of it. And so I build community. I'm part of PMAP. I am a strong believer and supporter of Asia CEO. And of course, I'm building also a community in Wipro, Philippines. I know that it was a mission. There's a calling why I was brought there, even when I was about to retire. And so, as I've said, I know how to have fun. And I really nurture happiness. No matter what difficulties you're in, the best climber is a person who knows how to have fun. And so, when the sun is shining, let us believe that we can do everything. No mountain is high enough, no valley low, no river wide enough, because we can beat all of these struggles in life.